Hey guys, Dan back with you to answer some more of your questions. Let's get started with number one. How old is too old when it comes to computers? So you know how like there's dog years and cat years and stuff, and it's like for cats or dogs it's like 7 years for every one calendar year. Computers are kind of what we've found kind of like 10 years for every 1 year. So if you have a 10-year-old computer, that's like having a 100-year-old car basically. I know that seems crazy, but once computers, like they won't even provide a warranty on a computer past 5 years, if that's any indication. Because after that, generally the thought is either the technology will be so outdated you can't get parts for it anymore, or the reliability is going to decline so quickly that it doesn't make sense to provide a warranty and there's no money in it anymore. So you can use that as a good rule of thumb. After 5 years, it's probably a good idea to start considering replacement. I regularly see 7, 8-year-old computers out in the field still working just fine. What usually happens is we end up having to replace them because they can't keep up with the software that's come out. The software is too demanding, needs more CPU cores and more memory than this model can even hold in capacity anymore. Processors just need to be faster. So that's generally what we see. But 5 years is a good time to start thinking about replacing. Beyond 7, I think that's a good time to, it's time to allow that to get recycled and get something else. So, second question. I don't see anything on my screen at all, but I know that the computer is on. What should I do? The most common thing that I see, if it's not just like something that's unplugged, like make sure that your video cable is plugged into your monitor, make sure that the monitor still works and that it's turned on, that the simple stuff is I have seen, especially with laptops, it happens more often with laptops and desktops, there'll be a static buildup on the motherboard inside where what you can do is remove power from the computer, unplug the power cable. If it's a laptop, actually remove the battery too, so there's no power going to the computer. Hold down the power button for 30 seconds or so, and what that does is it discharges any static buildup inside the computer. Plug in the battery, plug in the power, turn it back on. A lot of times the video will come back. If it still doesn't come back, then there's probably a hardware issue that needs to be addressed, and that's when it's time to reach out to your IT professional and have them take a look at it. So yeah, try the simple stuff and then try the little suggestion I just gave you. All right, last one. How do I print from my mobile device? This is becoming more and more common as mobile devices become more and more prevalent, especially out in like corporate environment and school and whatnot. It's gonna vary by device. If it's an Apple product, an iPad, whatnot, the best way to do it is to have a printer that is AirPrint compatible. A lot of the new ones that come out now will just automatically show up on, as long as you're on the same network, the same Wi-Fi network, it'll just automatically show up and you can print from it. If you don't, there's software that you can run like on a Windows server that acts as a go-between for the two and allows it to show up. It's kind of tough to get working though, so I don't highly recommend going that route. If you just can't do it, you're probably just gonna have to email the files or maybe share a file using like Dropbox or something or iCloud to a computer and then print from there. Unfortunately, with Android, it might be a little tougher. You're gonna have to look. It's so segmented. You're gonna have to look for a printer that has an app usually that allows you to print to it. Like Kyocera, I know, has like an app that allows you to print to their printers stuff over the network. It's not a very pretty way of doing it, so you might be better off doing the whole email it to somebody or use Dropbox sharing and that kind of stuff. With Chromebooks, printing is still in what they call beta, meaning it's not ready for prime time. So we end up having to run a piece of software on a print server that connects to the printer, and then they have to be submitted through that server, and it has to be shared in the Google console. It's actually pretty complicated. So printing with Chromebooks is still pretty tough, but it can be done. If that's a situation you're in where you need to implement that, I'd recommend you just reach out to a company like ours, and we'd be happy to kind of get that set up for you. We've done it multiple times. It's just, unfortunately, there isn't a really simple method for doing that. The easiest one's probably iPads, but you have to have a printer that's compatible with them. So that does it for this session. If there's another question that you have that you'd like us to cover, go out to our website, wvtsboise.com, drop us a line with our contact form, or give us a ring, 208-477-1837. Be happy to hear from you, and we'd love to put your questions in our next session. That does it for me this time, and I'll see you next time.